Howdy folks, and welcome to another edition of Musket Matters. Today we're going to talk about how to convert a giant pig of lead and render it into little ingots that we can use with our bullet casting pot. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this, and there's multiple heat sources that you can use. Some people use a turkey fryer that you can get from Harbor Freight in conjunction with the Dutch oven, and that works just fine, although you may not be able to fit the entire pig into a Dutch oven. If you do go the Dutch oven route, I recommend that you cobble together some sheet metal and make a shroud that will help retain the heat around your pot. And so otherwise, most of the heat from your fire is going to end up going up and around and into the air. And if you have a shroud like this, you can focus that heat on your pot and get your melt going a lot faster. What I'm going to demonstrate today is a forge I've got here from Lost in Foundry, and it's a Venturi propane burner, and it's used for casting metal. It'll melt aluminum, it'll melt brass, and I tell you what, it makes short work of a 60-pound pig of lead. So not that I'm recommending everybody go out and buy one of these $300-400 furnaces for melting your lead pigs, but it certainly is a fast way to melt lead. Like I said, numerous ways to do it, but we're just going to talk about whatever heat source you use and whatever vessel you use for melting down your lead. And we're going to talk about how to melt it, and then we're going to show ladling it out into a tray, a muffin tray, for making your individual ingots. Of course, safety is really paramount here. When you're dealing with large amounts of molten metal, there's a lot of energy in there. So you want to be sure that you've got a stable workspace. You don't want, a rickety situation where your burner might fall over and spill out 60 pounds of molten lead all over the place. The other thing is you want to wear, long pants. You want to have on shoes, closed-toed shoes, definitely nothing that's got holes in it. You want to make sure that the legs of your pants cover the opening to your shoe. Because if you get molten lead down in your shoe, you won't get that shoe off fast enough to save your foot. So safety is important. If for some reason you lose the lead and you do have a spill, get out of the way. Don't try to save it and be the hero. Let it go and clear out. So that's a little word about safety there. We're gonna go ahead and get the burner fired up. And get the garage door open. Our fabulous studio here is my garage, so to have some good ventilation, open up the garage door. I'll get the burner lit, and we'll start melting some lead. Alright, as you can hear, I've got the burner fired up. The forge is going to town, heating up the crucible, and I happen to know that this 60-pound pig of lead will fit in my crucible fully melted. If you can't fit your entire pig of lead into whatever your melting vessel is, you can easily cut this. You can use a sawzall, you can use a hatchet and a hammer and split it. If you do use a hatchet and a hammer, make sure you wear safety protection, safety glasses, because hardened steel, like you'll find in a hatchet and a hammer, can chip when you hit things with it. You don't want that. All right. lead is molten, you know, we don't need to boil the lead. We don't want to give off lead vapors like that. So I've turned down the the burner to keep it hot enough to stay molten. And now we're going to ladle out our molten lead into a muffin tin. Now, a word about these muffin tins, and I've seen this happen with an old timer, especially if you get your tins from a thrift store. If you get one of the old tin-plated muffin pans, the lead will alloy with the tin and it'll stick, and you won't be able to get your ingots out unless you cut open the pan. And I've seen that happen. So if you buy a modern one from Walmart, they're cheap. Most of them have some kind of vegetable-based coating on them. Of course, the molten lead burns it away, but we don't care for what we're doing. So, regular old muffin pan, this will get you ingots that are suitable for use in your regular production pot. Once it cools completely, once it gets completely solid, I'll tip the tray over. I'll set it on the garage floor here and tip it over and dump them all out, and they can continue to cool off completely on the cement floor. But you don't want to have molten lead dripping onto your cement floor. So wait until they've completely solidified, and then you can dump them out and keep ladling out your lead. And so here's what we end up with. 60 pounds of lead pig turned into ingots ready for use in your production pot. Well folks, that's it for this edition of Musket Matters. I hope you've enjoyed this instructional video on how to convert a large pig of lead into ingots that are useful for bullet casting. I'll provide some links down below for the sources that I have for lead, for the Lost and Foundry furnace if you're interested in acquiring one of those. If you've liked this video, please click like down below, and if you want to stay in touch with future videos, then be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and remember, at Musket Matters, muskets matter.